Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Katrina, but I also go by Princess K. So in today's video, we are going to be trying to recreate Makeup by Ariel's infamous glam that he does on Kylie and on Kim Kardashian, and I am just always super obsessed with it, and I haven't seen it done on like a darker skin tone like of my complexion. I haven't seen him do it, so I have just been like binge watching videos and like anything that I can to see like his technique and how he does it. So we are going to try it and see how it comes out. I'm actually really excited. I was like running around crazy trying to find products that he mentioned or that he uses or something similar to it. So let's get down to business. If you are not subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you guys enjoy this video.
I'm damn, I ain't seen make million a week. 5 shows made 3 million a week. You are now looking at the BADDIE elite.
You guys know I usually start off with complexion first, and then I will do my brows like in the middle. But we are gonna follow the master. So we are gonna start off with brows. I am using my Juvia's Place Eye Sculpt Eye Shade Brow Pencil in the shade Ebony. This is a little bit darker than what I usually would. It seemed like when he does brows, he was saying that he basically just follows the natural shape that people have. He kind of uses that, like he doesn't really alter anyone's shape too much. He tries to like stick to their like natural brow shape. I like his makeup technique because it's low-key kind of similar to mine. Obviously, like he just beats to the gods, but I think like when I was watching a lot of his like tutorials, like the way that he talks about doing his complexion and stuff is very similar to mine. So I was just like, you know what, I'm up for the challenge. I think that's good. I think any darker, we're gonna start looking crazy. So when he cleaned up the brows, he talked about just using a like concealer or something just a little bit lighter than your foundation, like nothing too crazy. So I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer and the shade Mahogany, and I'm gonna be using a Morphe E39 brush. He obviously used the brushes from his Morphe collaboration, so I'm gonna try to use brushes similar to that. I have some Morphe ones, but I don't have his, but he used a really small brush to clean up his brows. Like doing brows before my foundation gives me anxiety. I think about when I first started doing makeup and doing brows first. Like I remember just struggling so bad to do my brows. Somebody put a comment once and they were like, oh my god, I love Princess K's makeup. She's so beautiful. And then they were like, but her brows are trash. I was like, you might be right though. So I made sure that my brows are popping all the time, okay? To blend that out, I'm gonna be using a Dose of Colors brush. This is a shader brush. He kind of just like brought it downwards and slowly blended it out and just like work the product into the skin. Using that same brush, I'm going to go into this Rare Beauty bronzer. So it seemed like he worked with a lot more cream products. He likes to bring out like your natural discoloration and things like that and play on top of those to give you more of like a natural type of look. So we're going to take a bronzer and we are kind of going to blend this into the concealer that we already used to blend out our brows. How we brought that downwards, we are going to blend the two together into the crease. Ooh, okay, I see what's going on now. So after he did that, he went in with a setting powder. So I'm going to be using the Mercier translucent setting powder, and we are going to be taking kind of just like another fluffy flat brush, and we are going to set everything, even the brows. He even set the brows. And I guess I never thought about that, because I think the one thing that reason why I don't do my brows first is because I really hate that shininess that goes on after you apply all your foundations and everything, because it's like you have to protect your brow. So unless you're setting it, which I never thought to do, you would still have that like shiny cast, and I don't really like that. Yo, if I can body this, I'm gonna be so proud of myself, okay? I'm gonna be taking the Ariel palette and a Morphe M5 brush, because obviously like I have to figure out what colors to use for my skin tone, because Nikita and Patrick are obviously a more fair skin tone. So I think that we are gonna mix these two colors, and we are gonna be really light-handed with this. So we're gonna hold the brush like literally all the way down here. We're gonna hold it down here because the closer you are, that's the more pressure. We're gonna take it literally right here. And I'm gonna focus on going more into that red color because that's like my bronzing color. And so he said that he kind of like patted the beginning of the brow with the eyeshadow and kind of brought it downwards into the nose. And I think I'm gonna go one shade darker to kind of build up more of the crease for me, because obviously I'm a darker complexion and we want to see some type of, you know, like definition in the eye. I think the most important part too is kind of bringing it down into the nose, because he was kind of saying like this kind of starts his nose contour. This is definitely one of those like trust the process, especially if you're not like used to doing makeup. Like I'm kind of feeling like, girl, hey, you got this. And then I'm like, So now going into a Morphe 456 brush, we are going to go into the dark brown shade. And this is going to be kind of like that where we really define that crease. I think before we were just like warming it up, and now we're like actually going in and defining it, and they're just like being super light-handed and starting off too with a little bit of product, because you're gonna be blending, you know, like you don't want to start off too harsh because then you really will be sitting there blending for a long time. It's like just start off with a little bit and just like keep working it into your crease. You literally don't need to use a lot, especially when it comes to like a darker color. You want to be more like precise with this one. Like I know I'm doing small circles, like I'm doing like smaller circles now rather than when I was using the bigger brush, you know, I was doing more bigger circles so I could blend that out and diffuse it more. But with this, you want to be a little bit more precise, which is why we switched to a smaller brush. So I don't want to smoke it out too much, so I think I'm going to keep it just like this. In the other videos he did like a whole cut crease and a liner and all of that. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it very like Kim K and like, you know, just very natural on the eyes. So I think this is a good enough place for me to stop and move on to the rest of my face. So for primers, I saw TikTok and he was talking about how he used like 2 different primers for Kim Kardashian's makeup. He used the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I absolutely love this, so I already have this in my collection. This is just such a good base. Like it will just make your makeup lay the absolute best. But before we do that, we are going to hydrate the face a little bit more because this is more like a creamy type of base. So we're going to hydrate it more with the Laura Mercier, the Perfect Cream Multitasking Moisturizer. I'm just going to take some on the back of my hand and just apply it in some areas. My Morphe E63 brush. And you guys know I really like a really hydrated type of skin. My foundations lay on so much better when, you know, like my skin is prepped the right way. And then going into the Bobbi Brown, I would put this one second just because the consistency is a little bit, it's like it's a cream. So I would put this one second, just like how you would put any type of like moisturizer. Like you're always gonna put the thinner one first and then you'll put the more like creamier one to lock in that moisture. So that's kind of why I did the moisturizer first. So for foundation, we are going to be trying out the new Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. I am in the shade B4, which is Namiba. I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, she looks like she's my shade. So taking a Morphe MB8 brush, we are going to work this into the skin. Tell me, beautiful. That is a beautiful foundation and such a perfect match. Wow, that's only like one layer and a really thin layer, like in just what was on this brush. And ooh, you guys know I love a good foundation. And then he also took a beauty blender. I don't know if it was damp or if it was a dry one, but he kind of just went back in and blended the foundation more into the skin. So the next step that Ariel does is take a darker cream and use that for his contour, like to begin the bronzing. So that's different for me. Usually I go in with my concealer first and then I go into my bronzer, but he said it was just like, because you don't need all of that concealer, so he likes to work with the bronzer first and then, you know, just highlight the areas that need to be highlighted. So we are going to be taking a BH Cosmetics number 4 brush and then our Morphe Dimensions Effect Stick in shade 18. And I'm actually going to go straight into it and not apply it because it doesn't seem like Ariel applies anything directly to the skin, obviously because he's a makeup artist too, so all of his things are probably like in little, you know, like containers and stuff. So I'm going to go from the actual product and work it in. So he said that he took a darker one, so you know, I'm darker complexion, so this would probably be what I use. Cream products just really have such a nice finish to them. Like if you can find some that are really well and just like sit well, like just the way that your foundation will come out is just so like, you will look literally like airbrush and flawless. He seems to always go back into his beauty blender and then make sure that it's just like nicely blended and pressed into the skin. So one of the products that Ariel mentioned in his TikTok of Kim Kardashian's Oscars makeup breakdown is that he likes to take the Cabinetron skin enhancers. So I went to try to find it and your girl couldn't find it. Well, I did. I found it and I got a sample of it. I'll put a picture of it of what it actually looks like on the screen. But I got 2 samples actually. I got a sample of shade 13 and shade 14. This one is a little bit closer to my skin tone and this one is like a shade lighter, number 13. So I'm going to start off by going in shade 14 first. And you know with Cabinetron, a little bit goes a long way. I would recommend warming up the product first on the back of your hand or somewhere else. Don't go directly in with the product because it is a lot, okay? So he kind of started off in the corners of his eyes and kind of just like brings it kind of just like in this little, like he doesn't really take it out too far. He kind of just worked right in this area. He did, you know, like cut the eye a little bit just to clean it up, but that was about it. He kind of just only brought it right here and then he brought it down the nose. But one thing is I love cream concealers, like the MAC ones. Oh, when I first started doing makeup, like that was my thing. Those creamy concealers and the little things are just absolutely, they're just amazing. And I'm just gonna bring it right there. Because it seemed like the further out towards the eye, he just got a little bit more like precise with it. Like he didn't bring it out too much. Like he went towards the eye, but then like kept it really tight. Like he didn't really bring it out too far. It looks like his beauty blender is a little damp, so I went and made it like damp. And now we're just going to blend that out. I'm happy that I went with shade 14 instead of 13 because 14 is just like perfect. It's like a good, you know, highlight. It's not too crazy. So then for the nose, he highlighted. I have such a small nose, so he brought it straight down, just like that. Did I do that straight? No, I hit it. And I like that he also works in like sections. Like it doesn't seem like he, you know, like how, you know, like Instagram, we just do everything all at once. We're applying all of it all at once and then just working to blend everything out. Like usually you guys know I do the eye last, the under eye last, but he did it first. So the next step that Ariel did was take some cream blush. So I'm going to be using the Rare Beauty Nearly Rose cream blush. I'm going to be using my Morphe E20 brush. And I'm going to go directly into the product, obviously. If you watch Patrick's video, he just left the highlight on the nose and kind of just let that sit. And then he was taking in with a blush. And Ariel said he likes to take his blush on the apples of his cheeks and then on the high points of the cheekbone. Where you see how it's just like subtly there. So I feel like the cream blush, it peeks through your powder. It's like, you know, you don't want to be too heavy. Unless you like that type of look where your blush, you know, like that's kind of, you know, what stands out the most. I think I kind of like, you know, like the flirty type of blush, you know. Oh, look at this cheekbone over here, baby. So now we are going to like lightly blend out that nose contour. Let me try to turn towards you guys so you can see it. So now we are going to define the nose using that Soul Body by ColourPop and our Morphe MB25 brush. It seemed like he just lightly just defined the nose a little bit. So before we set, there is one step that I think that I'm going to do for myself, and I think I'm going to take some concealer just on the my upper lip area because I do have a little bit of hyperpigmentation, but I don't really like to color correct. Like it's not really my thing. I kind of just correct it with my concealers and stuff, and I didn't see in the video when he did that to Patrick, so I'm gonna do it for myself because I just, you know, that's, you know, you gotta kind of like shape it to yourself. So I'm gonna take that same skin enhancer and just take this right here. So the thing about it too is like these skin enhancers, like they can be used, they're like multi-purpose, you know, like not just for concealer, you can put them on like kind of as a foundation and stuff like that. So that's why they're not really called like a concealer or a foundation. It's really just like a pigment that you can use to enhance your foundation or your concealer or your contour with that same beauty blender. I'm gonna blend that out. So for the purpose of this video, I think I'm going to use just the regular Mercier translucent setting powder. Usually I'll do the honey, but I really love that bright under eye that like Kim and Kylie always have. And it's always just like a really subtle, it's not like in your face. So I'm just going to go in with the translucent one and that same beauty blender that we were using. And he was saying that he doesn't really like bake as much. It's more so like he's just pressing it into the skin. And literally just in that area. Yes, this is so nice, y'all. And I'm just gonna do just like the tiniest amount right here. Like I'm literally like taking what's left over. Oh my god, look how cute that blush looks underneath. Oh, I can't. For the nose, it looked like he just used like a really skinny type of thing to do the nose, and I don't got that. So we're gonna make it work with this one, and girl, we are gonna pinch. We're gonna pinch the hell out of this. I'm gonna take that shader brush and just kind of clean it up a little bit before that starts like setting in place. Yes, she's looking, bitch, this is nice. This is nice. So now we're gonna go in with the Laura Mercier Medium Deep Setting Powder. And he took a little fluffy and he just went all over the face to set the rest of the face. He said he used something that was closer to the skin tone for this type of powdering that he does. So that's why I'm going to use the Medium Deep by Laura Mercier. And so he said he did this part because he wants everything to be closer to the skin tone and more like your foundation, just to keep everything, you know, like cohesive of what he's already created on the face. So now going in with a little bit of a bronzer, more like foundation flesh tone type of powder, we are going to go all over the face. I'm going to be using a Morphe Y9 brush. This is actually my first time using the Huda Beauty Glowish powders. And it seems like he's like bronzing with it, but then also just taking it, you know, like all over the face. Obviously not on the brighter parts of the face, but he is, you know, just bringing some of that like warmth back into their face. Oh my god. This is the bright under eye that I live for. Woo, girl. So still working in that powder, then he switches over to like a puff, and he's just making sure to just like press it into the skin. He said so you can get that full coverage that you kind of need. Wow, my base looks absolutely like amazing. Like it doesn't even look like powdery or anything. And then we are going to use a Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Airbrush Flawless Finish powder in number 4 deep, and we're going to be taking an Anastasia Beverly Hills A22 brush, and we are just going to touch on the other parts of our face with this. This is going to be on the other like highlighted areas, and this is going to bring some warmth back into our face. Wow, this just looks so good. So after he does all of that, he goes back in with another foundation setting powder. So we're going to be sticking with the Laura Mercier one, and he just reinforces all of those areas that we kind of like highlighted. So finally, moving back to the eyes, we're going to go back into that Mario makeup palette, and we are going to use, we're going to go with these 2 shades right here, and we are going to go on our waterline. I'm actually going to be using a Morphe MB18 brush to do that. And we are going to take a nude matte eyeliner pencil by Kylie Jenner, and we are going to go into our waterline. And we're only going to do halfway. We're not going to take it all the way to the... And then going into the black shade from the Makeupbyariel palette, we are going to like tightline and really drag that as close as we can. After he went into blush. Now I tried to find the blushes that he used, but in the videos he just said that he uses a whole bunch of blushes, so we had a lot of blushes here. We have a lot of blushes here. I picked up one from Sephora. The one that he said he used on like TikTok live was Flirted Up. It's from the Sephora collection, and I grabbed the wrong one. It was literally in the Flirted Up thing, but it literally was not Flirted Up. So I picked up Fascinated, which is fine because it's like a little corally type of color, but we're gonna mix that. We are going in to 3 of the Kylie Cosmetics blushes. So I have Winter Kiss, which is a really light pink, like a really light pink. And then we are gonna go into Baddie on the Block, which you guys have seen me use before, which is kind of pink, but kind of has like a peachy undertone. And then we are gonna go into We're Going Shopping, which is more on the peachy orange side. So we're gonna kind of like mix all 3 of them. I'm gonna stick to my Sigma powder blush. This is an F10. So we're kind of just gonna go into like all of them. So apples of our cheeks and then the higher parts of our cheekbones. Going to wipe away what we have been baking. This is definitely not for the faint-hearted. There's a lot of steps, a lot of things that you have to do. So, like, you need to be prepared about what you're about to create, because this is not just like a little like sit down, let me do this and get out the door. Like, this is kind of like a full glam, like, girl. So now we're going to contour just a little bit. I'm going to be taking up my Morphe Glamour Bronze in the shade Prodigy. And I'm also going to mix it with the Glowish from Huda Beauty that we used earlier, because I don't want it to come off too red, especially because we have all these pinks going on. And it didn't look like he brought warmth back into their faces, but he also kept it kind of like on a neutral, cooler side. It wasn't too warm, like bronzy type of thing, you know? So we're gonna mix the 2 of those actually. So after he applied the blush and the contour, he went ahead and cut right underneath the cheek. Now you're just gonna lightly dust some of it away. And while that sits a little bit, we're gonna go in with some mascara. We're gonna go in with the Huda Beauty Then to wipe that away, I'm going to mix the Charlotte Tilbury just because I need some of that warmth, or this is going to make me look like really ashy. So now taking the Makeup by Mario Ultra Suede Sculpting Lip Pencil in the shade Jeff. Now I have kind of like one lip is higher, the other one is more like slanted, and one rounds a little bit more, so sometimes I struggle with my lips, so. And I'm going to take the back side of this and kind of blend and drag it a little bit so it blends. And then taking the lip palette by Makeupbyariel, we are going to mix these two colors. That's what he said he mixed for Kim Kardashian's Oscar Awards look. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to mix these two shades right here. Using my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, he just went in. He didn't really say which one that he used, but alright you guys, so this is the finished look following along with a Makeupbyariel tutorials with Nikita Dragun and Patrick Starr. I actually really like this. Now, does it take forever? Yes, but I do like the different techniques that he used. Like this, when I want like a bright under eye, this is kind of what I mean, like without it being like overbearing, like just a nice subtle bright under eye. Now this is a full glam, so if you are not used to doing full glam, like this is like a step above full glam actually, because there are a lot of steps to it. You are powdering, you are going back in with things, but other than that, like this is just a really beautiful makeup technique. Like, but I literally like cannot stop looking at myself in the mirror because this looks super nice. Kind of like a subtle, like all my colors are there, but they're really subtle. Like I feel like when I do my makeup, I'm a little bit more warm because I'm going in with more like red undertones and stuff like that. So the techniques that he used and the products that I used to try to match up with what he used, just like a beautiful, like it's subtle. I look like my skin complexion, but then I still have my nice highlights going on in my face. That foundation, that Nars foundation, you guys, she's bomb. She's absolutely gorgeous. She has such a nice finish. I might have to switch up my makeup routine and do a lot of these. Like even my brows, I was a little bit afraid of my brows looking so harsh, but now that everything is on my face, wow. Wow, you guys, it looks so nice. Like my brows look super nice. They don't look crazy, they don't look harsh. Even they're a little bit darker than how I usually do them, but it kind of is just like bringing my face a little bit more, like everything looks a little bit more lifted, if you guys can tell, especially on the sides of my face. The way that that blush is, you know, just like cheekbone carved a little bit. Everything is just really nice and subtle. It's not like bam in your face. Like it's just so nice. I'm obsessed. But do I have the time to do this every day? I do. So I think I'm gonna definitely take a lot of tips and tricks from this and like put this into my own makeup routine because this is just absolutely beautiful. Okay, Makeupbyariel, if you ever see this video and you ever need a dark skin complexion, because I need to see some more on your page, if you need one, holla at your girl, because I'd love to model for you and just see how you work your magic on a complexion like mine. It would just be absolutely beautiful. But anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was fun and entertaining for you guys to watch and see me challenge myself to take on somebody else's makeup techniques and totally switch mine out, because like I said, I don't do my brows. I'm usually complexion first, brows afterwards. So it was really fun for me. I actually really enjoyed it. I told you guys I was binge watching any makeup thing that Makeupbyariel had out there, so I could really try to get this down packed. But I think that I bodied this. This looks absolutely, girl, look at my nose. Okay. Anyways, though, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe if you are not subscribed. Thank you so much for tuning back into my channel, and I cannot wait to see you guys in my next video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Bye guys.
Too bad you can't go and invest in 50. I'm damn, I ain't see make million a week. 5 shows made 3 million a week. You are now looking at the bestie elite.